Welcome to your news and features electronic magazine that centers on the different facets of motoring, now in its 34th year. This is Motoring Today. I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Suzy Gamboa. Here are this week's features to watch out for. On Motoring Forum, we shall discuss how bike manuals, given for free, can help not only cyclists but all road users. A road safety reminder on the Young Street Smarts portion centers on what to do when one encounters a solid white center line road marking. This week's Spying Chuper shall be about following the 3-second distance rule. The public service segment centers on when all public transport modes shall shift to digitized contact tracing. Showcase this week shall have the plug-in hybrid electric vehicle from Mitsubishi, the Outlander PHEV.
All these plus the latest news in transportation and traffic management, as well as developments in the automotive industry, are in this week's edition of Motoring Today. Join us.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Here now are the latest news and developments in the country's transportation and traffic management. Metro Manila isn't the only metropolis in the country making it safe for cyclists. Metro Cebu is seeking kilometers of bike lanes on major thoroughfares connecting 4 cities.
Transportation Secretary Arthur Tagade flew to Cebu recently to inspect the Metro Cebu bike lane project being undertaken by the DOTR, Road Transport Sector, and the DPWH. Secretary Tagade and other government officials checked out the completed segment of the wide Metro bikeway called the SRP section, described as a Class 1 bike lane 5 meters wide and around 2.3 kilometers. The DOTR said the SRP section also features a pedestrian sidewalk, a shed for bike racks and benches, and solar studs that light up at night to guide cyclists. It added that the bike lane is being beautified with planters, greenery, and trees. The DOTR also reports that the Metro Cebu bike lane network is already 64% complete, covering around 88.84 kilometers. When completed, the network will have 138.90 kilometers of bike lanes traversing the cities of Lapu-Lapu, Mandaue, Cebu, and Talisay. A ceremonial bike ride on the completed segment of Metro Cebu Bikeway Network followed the inspection. In a message, Secretary Tagade thanked the Cebuanos and other stakeholders for supporting the establishment of the bike lanes, an initiative of the DOTR to promote active transportation.
More growing urban areas in the country are now incorporating bike lanes into their development plans. This should be good news to cyclists and proponents of biking as an environment-friendly form of personal transport. Aside from inspecting the status of the Metro Cebu bike lane network, Secretary Tugade also had another major initiative launched in Cebu, the expansion of the free ride for health workers to include other frontline workers.
When the COVID-19 pandemic prompted authorities to declare community quarantine restrictions that included a ban on public transportation, the DOTR launched an initiative called the Free Ride Service Program for Health Workers first in Metro Manila and then later in the provinces. Even after public transportation was allowed to resume operations, albeit under reduced capacity, the program continued and was expanded nationwide. When the COVID-19 cases surged anew and tighter quarantine restrictions were again declared in Metro Manila, DOTR Secretary Arthur Tugade directed the LTFRB to extend the free ride program to authorized persons outside residences or APORs. Secretary Tugade said this was to help essential workers in their commuting needs and ease their financial burden amidst the surge. While in Cebu to check on progress in the bike lane project, Secretary Tugade took the time to launch a free ride service program for health workers and APORs in Metro Cebu. To enable transport operators participating in the DOTR service contracting program to provide free rides to health workers and APORs, the DOTR and the LTFRB increased the per kilometer fee from 46.80 pesos to 82.50 pesos for buses and from 46.80 pesos to 52.50 pesos for jeepneys and other PUVs in the regions. During the launch, Secretary Tugade reminded jeepney and bus drivers participating in the program to stop charging passengers. Meanwhile, LTFRB Chairman Martin Delgado III revealed that additional incentives will be given to public utility vehicle drivers who join the free ride program. These include 25,000 pesos to drivers who participate in the program until April 30. Those who participate in the program from May 1 to June 15 will be given an additional 20,000 pesos.
The DOTR continues to come up with out-of-the-box solutions in helping both health and other frontline workers and jeepney and bus drivers during the pandemic. Perhaps this may be the way to go in coming up with programs to improve mass transport systems even after the pandemic. It has been an annual feature of the MMDA whenever the hot and dry season commences, the heat stroke break.
It's been blowing hot and hotter over the past few weeks, outside temperatures hitting the fever range and the heat index blowing past convulsion range. The MMD again instituted what has become almost like a tradition, the heat stroke break for its personnel in the field. The MMD said on-duty traffic enforcers and street sweepers are allowed to leave their posts in shifts and take a 30-minute break to rest. To ensure field operations are not hampered, the heat stroke break will be implemented alternately by MMDA personnel assigned in a particular area to maintain visibility of traffic enforcers and street sweepers and to ensure field operations are not hampered. A new wrinkle to this policy has been added under MMDA Chairman Benner Abalos. He ordered that to avoid heat exhaustion and heat stroke and heat cramps due to severe wave, a 15-minute break will be added in case the heat index in Metro Manila reaches 40 degrees Celsius and above. The heat stroke break policy will be implemented until May 31, 2021.
Those who have had to go out on the streets in the past few days know how the heat can be debilitating. Heat breaks are a necessity. The NLEX Corporation is keeping work on major road and other infrastructure projects on high gear despite restrictions in place to battle the COVID-19 pandemic.
NLEX Corporation has rolled out many development projects even under the COVID-19 pandemic. It has also been working hard to keep the timelines of projects now deep into construction work. This is being undertaken while strictly complying with health and safety guidelines mandated by the IATF, the DPWH, and other government agencies. According to NLEX Corporation President and General Manager Luigi Bautista, NLEX has been following timelines with contingencies in place to be able to accomplish projects amidst the community quarantine. By accelerating these projects, NLEX is doing its part to help keep the economy going, Bautista added. Among the projects being undertaken are the following: construction on the first 5-kilometer section or the Caloocan-España section of the NLEX connector, with progress standing at 32%. Targeted for completion by the end of the year, the section will have on and off ramps in España and will make NLEX accessible from the University Belt area. Upgrades on the Candaba Viaduct to maintain its long-term serviceability and ensure the safety and driving comfort of motorists. The project is already 92% complete. Pavement repair program on NLEX and SCTEX and the rehabilitation of the Maykawayan and Biga bridges in Bulacan to strengthen their structures. The rehabilitation of the 45-meter Maykawayan bridge is targeted for completion by September 2021. Work on the 64-meter Bigaa Bridge in Balagtas area is expected to be finished by August 2021.
Many believe that infrastructure projects will be a big help in sustaining the economy during the pandemic and in helping it bounce back when it blows over. Those are the latest news and developments in transportation and traffic management. Coming up next is Motoring Forum, brought to you by Suzuki Philippines. More cyclists are now on the road. More bike lanes too to keep them safe. But more needs to be done to keep the cyclists secure. And one apparent need is to educate motorists, motorbike riders, pedestrians, as well as cyclists themselves about safe cycling and proper use of bike lanes.
There are more bike lanes now in major thoroughfares in Metro Manila. In fact, the DOTR reports that there are now 296 kilometers of bike lanes in the metro, complete with pavement markings, installed bollards, curbs, and solar studs. And plans call for the completion of 535 kilometers of bike lanes in Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, and Metro Davao. Still a common sight is the bike lanes being encroached on by motorcycles and other vehicles. Some vehicles park on the lane itself, forcing cyclists to go around them and become vulnerable to accidents. It's not only other motorists at fault. Some cyclists don't bother to use the lanes, and on streets without bike lanes, some cyclists seem to think that they're exempt from following traffic rules and regulations. Some out of ignorance of traffic regulations, others because they really don't care to follow regulations. The DOTR is leading efforts to educate cyclists and other motorists as well as commuters about how to safely use bikes on streets and national roads. This has led to the publication of the Active Transport Guidelines passport-sized booklet, which aims to educate cyclists, motorists, pedestrians, and other road users with regard to safety, courtesy, and etiquette while using the country's roads. This manual for bikers contains safety guidelines and pointers for cyclists, including the proper use of safety gear, regular bicycle inspection and maintenance, the use of hand signals. The manual also teaches cyclists on how to identify blind spots and avoid crashes and how to make safe right and left turns, and on-road and traffic protocols. The publication of the Active Transport Manual has gotten the support of other government agencies like the DPWH, Department of Interior and Local Governments, Department of Health, and the MMDA, as well as groups like the Move as One Coalition and the private sector like SM Supermalls. SM Supermalls is among the first to recognize that cycling can play an important role in personal mobility or transport during the pandemic and perhaps even in a post-COVID-19 world. It is supporting the cycling movement by installing bike racks at SM malls. It's also seeing the establishment of 80 bike repair stations nationwide. Now, SM Supermalls and the DOTR have collaborated in an initiative to distribute 140,000 active transport or bike manuals in English and in Filipino to the public for free in all SM malls nationwide. During the launch of the initiative to distribute the DOTR SM Bike Manual, Transport Secretary Arthur Tagada indicated that cycling will be encouraged as a viable addition to existing modes of transportation. Health authorities are also supporting the use of bicycles, saying that aside from mitigating environmental pollution, the use of active transport is an effective way to social distance and promote mental and physical wellness, especially this time of the pandemic. MMDA Chairman Benner Abalos supports the establishment of more bike lanes and the distribution of the DOTR SM Bike Manual to promote road safety, courtesy, and etiquette, not just for bikers but for all road users.
We should hope that the bike manuals being distributed for free are actually read and the information learned and taken to heart by cyclists and all those who share the road. That's our Motoring Forum this week, courtesy of Suzuki Philippines.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Make looking good easy with the Mirage G4. Make long distance easy with the Mirage G4.
You are back back with us here on Motoring Today, and in line with our lifelong commitment to promote road safety, here is this week's road safety tip in cooperation with Toyota Motor Philippines. Solid white center lines are meant to separate the movement of traffic on multi-lane roads. Kapag ikaw ay nasa daan na mayroong solid white center line, you're not supposed to overtake unless the way is clear and safe. Kung hindi naman, stay on your lane and wait until you can overtake to avoid accidents. Continuing with this week's edition of Motoring Today, let's now focus on proper driver's demeanor, especially for those driving PUVs. From Mitsubishi Motors Philippines, here is Payong Choper this week.
Payong Choper lang, kaibigan. Ako si Rodrigo, isang kapwa niyo choper. Siguraduhin may sapat na espasyo pagitan ng inyong sasakyan at nasa inyong harapan sa tuwing namamasada.
Maaari mo itong gawin sa pamamagitan ng pagsunod sa 3-second rule, kung saan ikaw ay maglalaan ng 3 seconds of space sa pagitan mo at ng sasakyan sa iyong harapan. Humanap ng palatandaan sa gilid ng kalsada. Kapag nakita mong nakalampas na dito ang sinusundang sasakyan, saka ka umabante at sumunod.
Tandaan sa pamamagitan ng pagsusunod sa 3-second rules, maiiwasan ang gitgitan sa kalsada. Ito po si Rodrigo Apas, Payong Choper lang, kaibigan, mula sa isang kapwa nyo choper.
Your city is about to change. Are you ready? Ready to rise? Ready to rock? Ready to go? Ready for more? Ready to rule the city. The all-new Honda City. Ready to rule.
The Mitsubishi Strada Athlete. Unleash the athlete.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. World of Motorsports is next. We start with the latest news and developments.
The 2021 Toyota Gazoo Racing GT Cup got off to a rousing start, drawing esports and race enthusiasts to compete or just watch the virtual competition. After the exciting qualifying heat races of the first leg were completed, Russell Cabrera emerged champion of the junior class for e-racers 17-year-old and below. Second in the class was Jos David Marquez, who also posted the fastest lap in the race. Third was John Paul Veloso. Jether Miole ruled the promotional class for racers without professional experience. In the sporting class for those with professional esport experience, Terence Aliave emerged as champion, staving off the challenge of Luis Moreno in second. Coming third in class was Estefano Rivera. Champions of the first round earned exciting gaming gear. Registration for the second round is now going on at the official Toyota GRGT Cup website.
And that's this week's World of Motorsports. Motoring Today continues right after this break.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Live extra
with the Mitsubishi Xpander Cross.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the local auto industry.
there's now an honest-to-goodness all-electric passenger sedan available in the country. Nissan has just rolled out the Leaf, its flagship full-battery electric vehicle. The Leaf can seat 5 quite comfortably in its roomy cabin and features all of the comforts, conveniences, and connectivity found in passenger sedans with conventional powertrains. Nissan claims that with an all-electric powertrain generating 150 PS and 320 Nm of torque, the Nissan Leaf can go from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 7.9 seconds and have a top speed of 140 km per hour. It added that a 40 kWh lithium-ion battery gives the Leaf a range of 311 km on a full charge. It takes 15 to 18 hours to fully charge a Leaf from a dedicated wall outlet at home using a supplied universal charging cable. The Leaf can also be charged in just 40 to 60 minutes at quick charging stations that Nissan plans to install in dealerships that sell its all-electric passenger sedan. At the moment, the Leaf is only available at 3 dealerships: Nissan Mantrade Makati, Nissan Otis, and Nissan Cebu South Virama, but 4 more dealerships are scheduled to join this exclusive club within the year. The Nissan Leaf is being sold at 2.798 million pesos and comes with a 3-year 100,000 km vehicle warranty and 8-year 160,000 km battery warranty. The Okavango has grabbed the attention of many of those looking for a new SUV or crossover, which Geely describes as bold, ingenious, and gorgeous. Now Sojitz G Auto Philippines, or SGAP, local distributor of Geely vehicles, is looking to get people to test drive the Okavango and turn that attraction into sales. With a Go Big with Your Test Drive promo, SGAP is giving those who test drive the Okavango the opportunity to win an Apple Watch, C-Tech MX S 5.0 bundle, or 5,000 pesos worth of Shell fuel card. According to SGAP, 80 such prizes are up for grabs by those who register for and take the Okavango out for a short spin at any of its dealers nationwide from May until the end of June. SGAP said it will draw 5 lucky winners of prizes from each of its dealerships. One consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic is growing acceptance for cashless transactions. People now prefer to use debit cards, credit cards, mobile payment apps for most of their purchases. Honda Cars Philippines is taking advantage of this new trend. Buyers can now avail themselves of cashless payment options at select Honda dealerships and authorized service centers. HCPI and its dealership network are partnering with GCash and PayMaya to allow cashless transactions. Honda says this will help ensure a safer and more convenient way of transacting at its dealerships. Honda has announced that cashless payment options are initially available for service transactions at the following select Honda car dealerships and service centers nationwide.
Motoring Today now brings your car of the week on Showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee. Mitsubishi says it's the most popular plug-in hybrid electric vehicle in the world. Maybe we can discover why the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV has this distinction in this edition of Showcase.
Mitsubishi was the first to roll out an electric vehicle for mass production, the iMe EV, back in 2009. 4 years later, Mitsubishi was again leading the way with the launch of the first plug-in hybrid SUV, the Outlander PHEV. It took a number of years after that for Mitsubishi Motor Philippines to believe the local market is ready for the Outlander PHEV. But here it is now, and it looks positively electrifying with the sleekest yet interpretation of Mitsubishi's Dynamic Shield concept fascia, black painted with dark chrome plating. At 4,695mm long, 1,800mm wide, and 1,710mm at its highest point, and with a 2,670mm wheelbase and 190mm minimum ground clearance, the Outlander PHEV also looks sleek and smooth from the side, with straight accent lines and smooth rounded curves. Chrome door handles and belt line molding, silver roof rails, and rear spoiler add touches of elegance and sport. It comes with all the latest in LED lighting tech, from the headlamps, daytime running lights, fog lamps to the rear combination lamps. The Outlander PHEV is both spacious and elegant with dark leather seats that match the synthetic leather inserts in the front and rear door trim. The seats have body-hugging side and thigh supports, with head restraints of synthetic leather. The driver's seat feature 4-way electronic adjust. Look up and you can see the sky through the sunroof with power tilt and slide functions and anti-trapping feature. A switch near the driver's seat opens and closes the power tailgate automatically, a great convenience for SUVs. Up front is a clear and tall view of the road as well as an elegant dashboard with the instrument panel that provides all the information the driver needs to know of the PHEV operations. Then there's the 8-inch smartphone link display with audio system that's integrated with the Mitsubishi power sound system that plays through 4 speakers. The system works in both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Underneath the touchscreen display are the controls for the dual-zone automatic air conditioner. Adding to convenience are USB port power outlets on the center floor console and the luggage area, as well as automatic dimming mirrors. But the best thing about the Outlander PHEV's powertrain system that features a 2.4-liter 16-valve 4-cylinder DOHC MiVec gasoline engine, 2 permanent magnet synchronous motor, one on the front and the other on the rear axle, front power drive unit, a rear electric motor control unit, a lithium-ion battery, and Mitsubishi Super All-Wheel Control System or SAWC. In essence, the PHEV powertrain has 3 drive modes: full electric with the motors powered by the battery, series hybrid with the engine providing power to the motors, and parallel hybrid with engine powering the vehicle at high speeds with assistance from motors when needed. These are automatically selected by the Outlander's sophisticated power management system, but the driver can also select which mode he prefers using a joystick-like knob, depending on whether he wants quiet all-electric short drive or longer drives in the countryside, or how he wants to manage battery usage. The SAWC comes integrated with active yaw control, anti-lock brake system, active stability control, and traction control. By managing all this, the SAWC provides great traction, stability, and linear handling, all the while providing safety, comfort, and fuel efficiency. The driver can now select SAWC controls the power sent to the front and rear wheels, selecting normal, sport, and lock modes, depending on road conditions. All this means that the Outlander PHEV is fun, fuel efficient, and a stable drive in virtually all road conditions. You get to save a lot on the cost of fuel and feel good about helping the environment. Until charging stations are established in the country, owners can charge the Outlander PHEV batteries through regular power outlets at home or office using the onboard charger and charging cable. Charging time is around 5.5 hours. The engine can also charge the batteries with the generator. The battery also recovers energy through a regenerative brake system. The suspension features McPherson struts with coil spring and stabilizer in the front and a multi-link system with stabilizer in the rear. The brake uses 2 pot ventilated discs in front and solid discs in the rear. It comes with hill start assist as well as brake auto hold. The Outlander PHEV Mitsubishi Motors Philippines brought to the country also comes with 3-point ELR seatbelts with pre-tensioner and force limiter for driver and front seat passenger, 3-point ELR seatbelts for 3 in the second row seat, dual airbags, skirted airbags. Also added for safety are misacceleration prevention system, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic alert, lane change assist, forward collision mitigation system, adaptive cruise control, auto high beam, and multi-around monitor. Drive worry-free with Prudential Guarantees Auto Insurance Program with a free 24-hour nationwide roadside assistance included with your comprehensive auto insurance. Rest assured, we'll take care of you and your car wherever you are. Prudential Guarantees Auto Insurance Program, 100% worry-free driving.
I think my dad is secretly a superhero. He's the coolest, smartest, strongest person alive. No matter where we go, he always makes sure I feel safe. And he isn't afraid of anything. My dad likes to call that the power to lead. I call it his superpower.
Introducing the all-new Isuzu D-Max into new heights.
We now have our public service segment brought to you by Honda Cars Philippines.
It is no doubt that one of the vectors in the spread of COVID-19 these days is public transportation, as obviously this is where people get crowded at times with health protocols not being monitored all the time. Transport authorities have made it mandatory for commuters to fill up contact tracing forms to make it easy for them to find people with possible exposure when there is a confirmed COVID-19 case. This has become even easier when the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases and the National Task Force on COVID-19 approved the use of StaySafe.ph, the country's official health condition reporting, contact tracing, and social distancing system with regard to the fight against COVID-19. However, I've noticed that manual forms are still being used in a bus terminal that I go to every now and then. Curious as to when this would improve, I asked Department of Transportation Assistant Secretary Goddess Libiran if there's a move to digitize contact tracing forms in all public transport stations or terminals, or maybe a possibility of integrating this with the StaySafe.ph system. ASEC Libiran confirms that they're looking into that and are going in that direction, albeit little by little. She stressed that contact tracing efforts are now digitized in seaports, airports, MRT3, as well as in LRT. As for the road sector, she said that this is under the jurisdiction of the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, and there is already a memorandum circular. We have yet to hear back from the agency to confirm this, but we shall continue to have this discussion and share their answers to you and the general motoring public.
And that's our public service segment from Honda Cars Philippines. And should you yourself encounter motoring problems that need immediate attention, please feel free to contact us. See the details being flashed on your screen. And that's the week that was in motoring. Thank you for joining us. Also, please don't forget to check us out on social media.
Until next week here on Motoring Today, now in its 34th year of continuing service to the general motoring public with a lifelong commitment to promote road safety. Stay healthy and be vigilant at all times. On behalf of our dad, Butch Gamboa, I'm Ray Louie Gamboa.
And I'm Susie Gamboa.
Happy
motoring!
motoring!